Hello, my fellow Italians, and welcome to Heta Mysteries. I know I already posted this on Tumblr, but I received a lot of great feedback for this on Tumblr, and a lot more people view YouTube than Tumblr, so I decided to post it on YouTube. There has been so much debate over this topic in the fandom, and so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do a video on it because recently I'm addicted to doing these videos. Be prepared, for I'm about to dive into one of the most controversial topics in all of Italia. I am going to touch up on if these two are the same guy, and if so, how are they the same guy? If they were the same person, why don't Italy and Germany know each other from then? Why can't Germany remember Italy? I have done hours of research, and I am convinced that this answer is correct. So, with that, let's jump in. First, let's look at history. What exactly was the Holy Roman Empire? I will sum it up in a couple of sentences. It was basically a union of smaller kingdoms bound together in Central Western Europe. This was a large mass of little kingdoms and little governments all protected under one roof, each Reich running their own way of life. Today, it included the modern countries of Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Belgium, Netherlands, Czech Republic, Slovakia, as well as eastern France, Slovenia, northern Italy, West Poland, and it even got bigger over time. So the Holy Roman Empire was pretty big. To say Germany is the Holy Roman Empire because of that reason isn't really accurate, because then you'd have to say all those other countries were Holy Roman Empire, which obviously was not the case, as we see Austria is a different person. So to say that the Holy Roman Empire is Germany just because the land included what is now today Germany is not really an accurate statement. So, debunked, right? Well, not exactly. In 1512, the Holy Roman Empire changed its name to Der Heilige Römische Reich der Deutschen Nation, or Holy Roman Empire of the German Nation. That might further advance the hinting greatly. It also seems like a petty thing he would use to do something like this. Remember when I said the Holy Roman Empire was huge? So why on earth is the Holy Roman Empire depicted as a little kid? The same reason Austria is still his own person at the time. The Holy Roman Empire isn't the entire empire, but rather a portion of it. Like how Russia doesn't represent the entirety of the Soviet Union because Lithuania, Belarus, and everyone else still exist at the same time. It'll all come together at the end. So now let's look at the character of the Holy Roman Empire. First, let's look at the appearance. If we compare the two side by side, you will notice a lot of similarities. Let's see here, blonde hair, light blue eyes, sideburns, and their eyebrows kind of look the same. They have a lot of boots? Question mark? But a kid with those sideburns? Come on, it's gotta be him, right? Now let's compare Holy Roman Empire as a teenager to Germany. I was also able to dig deep and fish out a picture of young Germany. That will be a lot more accurate. I also have a picture of Holy Roman Empire from Christmas Bloodbath. Let's see if you can tell which one is young Germany. Give up? It's hard, isn't it? I can't tell them apart. The eyebrows, the exact same hairstyle, those horrendous sideburns. I would say that this theory is confirmed, but I'm not one to go off appearances alone. No, I must have more evidence. By the way, if you're curious, here's the answers. By the way, that picture that young Germany is in, that is a comic that takes place during the Austro-Prussian War. The Austro-Prussian War was fought in 1866. The Holy Roman Empire dissolved long before that in 1806. Now it's time to reference the comics. Before I jump into this, I know Hima hasn't directly said anything. For good reason. He wants it to remain ambiguous, even though the answer is so clearly obvious. He has hinted it so many times in the comics in order to tease us. But here is what we do know. The first thing I want to quickly point out is Holy Roman Empire in the Christmas Bloodbath, in the image I just showed you. Isn't his dialogue a bit familiar? A bit too familiar? Cue the first comic ever! I think enough is to be said about this image. Next, there is the Holy Roman Empire's character profile, which states he is Germania's grandson. The Heta Wiki also states that Prussia is related to Germania and is one of his offspring, which means Germany is related to Germania in some way. While this doesn't prove this theory, even if this theory was a bust, the two are still bloodline related to each other. So to say the two have nothing to do with each other at all is a load of crap. Next is the Buon San Valentino comic. better known as the closest thing to a canon pairing Hetalia will ever see. I ruined my eyes staring at a computer screen until 1 o'clock in the morning, and I found this beautiful gem. It appears at the end of the comic, when Germany's brain and all the little people inside are going nuts, and Italy's all like, Germany, Germany, say something! And we are greeted with this. And then the comic ends. The boxes are a different color than the rest of the comic, meaning it must be a flashback or something. And Germany is spazzing out, so it would be very likely to be in his subconscious. It probably isn't Italy because Italy is currently yelling at him, and if it was, it would mean the same thing. Himaruya wouldn't put this in here for no reason at all. I'm going to throw in a random Chibitalia in this dramatic scene. It has nothing to do with it at all. No, he wouldn't do that in a scene like this. It is yet another tease for him to laugh at this plot he has been overplaying since day one. Alright, now to touch on the theory that everybody loves. The amnesia theory. If I had a Deutschmark for every time I heard this theory, I would have enough money to buy a wheelbarrow full of cats. While the theory is overused, it does have some good evidence to back it up. As seen in Heter 5 Lietuvis, Lithuania is relieved that Germany doesn't remember him because he and Poland beat the crap out of his family member, Prussia. But during that war in the 1400s, Germany didn't exist. However, the Holy Roman Empire did. You might be thinking, this theory is proven, Kolko, you are awesome! Don't thank me yet. I am positive that there are a few of you out there who are wondering about a certain deleted comic. A comic that probably started this whole debate, and it is this very scrapped comic. For those of you who can't read Japanese, this is what it says. France says, sorry, the Holy Roman Empire is no more. Italy. France, you should forget about him. You've suffered enough already, haven't you? So how can Germany be the Holy Roman Empire when France says the Holy Roman Empire is dead? Well, you have to look at the translation again. France states that the Holy Roman Empire is no more. Remember when I said the Holy Roman Empire was huge? This could mean it all dissolved, right? I mean, nobody died when the Soviet Union dissolved. Look at France more in this comic. He appears sad. Isn't that a little weird, since Napoleon was the one that ended the Holy Roman Empire in the first place? It could be just France's soft spot for Italy, though. I mean, he wouldn't want to see him get hurt. But did he see the Holy Roman Empire die? What happens when nations die anyways? Look at the Roman Empire, who appears as a spirit. And then there's Prussia, who's just like, screw it all, I'm a fan favorite, so I'm alive, bitches! Though fans may speculate that Prussia is fading away, Himaruya outright stated the opposite when answering a fan's question. Prussia isn't going anywhere. And there is one very important thing to remember. The rest of this comic was not able to be salvaged, meaning there was more to this comic before Hima scrapped it. What the rest of the comic was, we will never know until Hima posts it, if he ever does. However, a fan did ask about this scrapped comic back in 2007, to which Hima replied, Chibitalia and the Holy Roman Empire will have a happy ending. But how could that be if the Holy Roman Empire is dead? You have to remember that this isn't even the full comic. This is merely a portion of that scrapped comic, which Hima has yet to release. So we don't know what happens in the rest of the comic. However, this does not nullify the fact this comic still happened. So I will say this. France did see the Holy Roman Empire die, but that will all be pieced together in my final conclusion. Now, there are two more pieces of comic evidence that'll seal up this mystery. First comes from the vlog update, Private Concert. When this update came out, everyone was flipping out about, oh my gosh, Prussia's bite mark is still there, he's going to die, no! So they ignored huge pieces of information. While Prussia is playing the flute, he is having flashbacks to a teenage Holy Roman Empire who is sick in bed. This is the Holy Roman Empire because apparently he has a different speech pattern than the Germany actually with Prussia at the time. Teenage HRE refers to Prussia as his big brother, though the Germania family is really big. It seems a bit odd that Prussia is flashing back to that specific brother at that specific time with one very similar looking brother who thinks the exact same way about his flute playing and has basically the exact same comments. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, maybe Germany reminds Prussia of the Holy Roman Empire. You may be right, but the question is, why? And why would they have both the exact same comments and both call him a war mongrel coincidentally? Fine. If you still don't believe me, this last piece of evidence is going to be the final nail in the coffin. The comic tells how Germany was born, and the story is unusually similar to what happened after the Holy Roman Empire fell. I will break it down, and I found a nice source in English just for you. Thank you, History Rhymes. Less than 10 years after the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, and after Napoleon was sent into exile after his defeat by the British, the congregation of the monarchs and the statesmen gathered together in Vienna in order to reconstruct Europe. This congregation is known as the Congress of Vienna, beginning in the fall of 1814 and ending in June of 1815. Europe would be divided much the same way before Napoleon's crusading, such as Austria being restored to its former borders, but with a few important differences. Prussia was allowed to annex Saxony, the Rhineland, Westphalia, and West Pomerania, although the Kingdom of Hanover still retained its personal ties with Britain and remained sovereign. Thus began what was known as the German Confederation. Okay, maybe the comic could have used a little bit more France. But the comic does say, after many twists and turns. But the real punchline is at the end of the comic, when this happens. While these countries were born as babies, Germany was a little older since he had an existing body already. An existing body. Boom. And this little gem brings me to my final conclusion. So here is the final conclusion. After all this information, what can we conclude? Is Germany the Holy Roman Empire? The answer is... kind of. What? No! Coco, why? Isn't Italia complicated enough? Well, allow me to make it even more complicated. Germany and the Holy Roman Empire share the same body. That explains the end of Germany's origin comic and why the two look identical, and why they are both Prussia's little brother. It's true that the Holy Roman Empire died. However, because of Prussia rounding up the pieces of the Holy Roman Empire, he was able to revive his little brother as a totally new nation. Prussia saw his little brother getting sick, and he knew his end was near. Germany technically is the Holy Roman Empire, as in, they are in the same body. However, because he is a new and completely different nation, he does not have the memory of the previous nation that he was. This also explains why they have different birthdays since, well, they're technically born on different days. And this also explains why Germany, when he was first born, looks exactly the same as teenage Holy Roman Empire. They're not the same person, they're just in the same body. So Prussia immediately takes Germany under his wing and tries to get him to call him his little brother, just like Holy Roman Empire used to. But he's a new nation now. He may inhabit the same body, but it wouldn't make sense for him to have memories of a completely different nation, would it? That's why Germany can't remember Civitalia or Italy or anything about Lithuania. He isn't exactly Holy Rome. And in the end, this technically Holy Roman Empire has a happy friendship with Italy, so it technically is a happy ending, isn't it? And the deleted comic ties into this very well. France did see the Holy Roman Empire die, however, he did not see Prussia resurrect him, so what he is telling Italy is true. But you're thinking, well, what about countries like Poland? He died and came back. Yes, but he still came back as the same nation. All those nations remember because they were most likely annexed, or they came back as the same nation as they were. The Holy Roman Empire was completely dissolved. He died. But how did Prussia do it? Full Metal Awesomist? The comic skips that part entirely and says, just like that after many twists and turns, being very vague. So, I don't think Hima even knows that one. I'm sure you'll make up some BS reason in the future. And that was one mark higher on your history test. Thank you for watching Heta Mysteries.